Welcome to the ACME Real Fantasy Football Podcast, where we break down the latest matchups, big plays, and everything you need to dominate your fantasy league. I'm D-Cypher, and today we've got a show packed with action. Stick around because our game of the week is an absolute thriller. Ballbusters and Bod Squad are in a heated battle, separated by less than 1 point headed into Monday Night Football. It all comes down to the Saints versus the Chiefs to decide the winner. You won't want to miss this one. Before we dive into the action, let's quickly go over how the ACME Real Fantasy Football scoring works. It's all about making every play count, from touchdowns to defensive stops. This season, the scoring is focused on rewarding players who shine in the clutch. Make sure to keep your eye on key players because every point matters. Let's dive into the action from Thursday Night Football to Sunday Night Football, and what a week it's been. First up, TDs squeaked out a close one against Sock Monkey, winning 26-23. The Seahawks defense showed up big with 3 sacks, a fumble, and a touchdown return, contributing a crucial 7.8 fantasy points to seal the deal. Next, we had a real back and forth between Lickety Splitters and Joe Buck Yourself. This is our second game of the week, with Joe Buck Yourself pulling out a narrow 24.4 to 24.2 victory. The Bears QB lit up the field, throwing for 2 touchdowns and racking up over 300 passing yards to push them over the top. Meanwhile, in a high-scoring affair, Rump Ranger tapped out bodily harm 37-35. The Vikings defense was unmatched with 3 sacks, 3 interceptions, 1 interception return touchdown, securing 10 points for the Rump Ranger. The Killers took down Illuminati 30-19, with wide receiver Drake London grabbing 5.5 fantasy points, helping the Killers maintain their dominant streak. And finally, T-Money secured a solid 28-25 win over Todd's Tough Mofos, with the Texans QB proving their worth yet again with over 330 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and 27 rushing yards. This episode of ACME Real Fantasy Football Podcast is brought to you by, well, us. ACME Real Fantasy Football, where the thrill of the game is just 1 click away. Sign up today at acmerealfantasyfootball.com. And now for our game of the week. Ballbusters versus Bod Squad. It was a nail-biter with the score before Monday Night Football sitting at 28.6 to 28.7. That's about as close as it gets in ACME Real Fantasy Football. The competition was high, with Ballbusters feeling good, with Jamar Chase delivering 9 points while at wide receiver, while Bod Squad's defense was coming up big with 10 points from the Denver Broncos. But the real decision happened on Monday night when the Chiefs faced off against the Saints. Both teams were holding their breath as they both had members of the Chiefs on their squad, and this was going to determine the winner. So who emerged victorious? That would be Ballbusters, of course, rounding out our Week 5 with a decisive 34-31 victory. As we look ahead to Week 6, we've got some thrilling matchups lined up for Sunday and Monday night. First up, a huge NFC West showdown as the San Francisco 49ers take on the Seattle Seahawks. Both teams will be looking to make a statement in this divisional clash. It's going to be an intense battle. Across the pond, we'll see the Jacksonville Jaguars square off against the Chicago Bears in London, so be ready to set those alarms for some early morning football. In the States, we've got plenty of action as well. The Arizona Cardinals head to Green Bay to face the Packers. Indianapolis Colts travel to Tennessee for an AFC South clash with the Titans. Houston Texans take on the New England Patriots in what promises to be an interesting matchup. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers meet the New Orleans Saints in a divisional face-off. The Cleveland Browns will head to Philly to battle the Philadelphia Eagles. The Washington Commanders take on their regional rivals, the Baltimore Ravens. Later on in Sunday, we've got the San Diego Chargers at Denver Broncos, Pittsburgh Steelers going against the Los Angeles Raiders, the Detroit Lions face off against the Dallas Cowboys, and the Falcons visit the Panthers. And there's also going to be an exciting matchup between the Cincinnati Bengals and the New York Giants. And finally, the Buffalo Bills take on the New York Jets in Monday Night Showdown. Keep your rosters locked in, folks. Anything can happen in these prime matchups as we roll into Week 6. That's a wrap for this week's ACME Real Fantasy Football Podcast. Don't forget, Fantasy Glory is just yards away and is waiting for you at ACME. Why ACME, you ask? Because we've built the ultimate fantasy experience for those who love the game just as much as we do. We'll be back next week with more scores, more highlights, and more action. Until then, Good luck setting your lineups, and may the best team win.